so much because he's genuine as well.
Yes, that's Rob Banks, who wrote an Irrational Hatred of Luton, West Ham Till I Die, and The Legacy of Barry Green, who has been watching West Ham as long as we have. And sort of meeting our heroes like this, people that we've stood with 30,000 other people and just watched since we were sort of kids. You are one of those guys, and I'm wrapping things up now. Jim's crying. It's honestly, it always is. It's always a massive thrill to us to get our heroes on this podcast.
Doing this, when you asked me years ago to come and do this podcast with you, I mean, I didn't really sort of think about it.
Jim's talking to me now.
Yes, yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to all of you as well. It is an incredible privilege to meet people who just, in my youth, you are my heroes.
Yes, that's right. I work in the entertainment industry, and I've met a lot of well-known people in the entertainment industry, but they're not people who sort of can't do what I think we can all do what they do. Sports people can't do what we do. They can't do what 99% of the people in the world can do. They're that top bunch of people that just do everything better than the rest of us can, and we've got a massive thrill out of meeting the boys from '86 and the other ex-West Ham players we've had on. But as I said earlier, you were literally the best in your position of all the ones we've met, and that's just amazing. It's like we've just sort of watched you making a double save and just smiling at Alvin and just smiling at the other guys, and it really is a privilege, Phil. It's just fantastic. And so I'm going to wrap it up, and so with me have been Jim Grant.
Cheerio.
Don Peretta.
Thank you, Phil.
And West Ham legend Phil Parks.
Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you. I've absolutely loved it. Thank you very much.
Let's get drunk on the minibar, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Football Ramble. My name's Marcus and Jim's here. Hello. Luke's also here.
There are people in this room who thought that was a genuine request.
And Pete is also here.
Hello.
Also,
all right?
You are here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a bloody pleasure. We're all in this together. Now, Newcastle United, they need to be at the races.
Yeah.
Don't they just? They need to be together. They've cancelled their end-of-season bash, though, as it was deemed inappropriate due to their current league position. For those outside of the UK, a bash is a party.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a bash.
Have you not?
In the same way I've never been to a shindig or a kegger.
I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, because I've been to bashes with you.
No, you wouldn't call it a bash, though, would you?
Oh, I would. We turned it into a bash.
I've been to Martin Bashir's house.
Have you really?
No.
No, okay.
I've been to Shinsai Bashi in Tokyo.
Okay.
Well, if you could organise an event for Newcastle United which was more appropriate, perhaps, for the club, what would you come up with, Jim?
Well, I think what's very obvious about Newcastle's plight at the moment is they just... It seems like they're just not playing for Carver at all. However much he loves the club, all that stuff, they just can't find the get up and go.
You legally have to say that whenever John Carver's mentioned.
And just fulfilling that obligation, and now we can all move on from that. So.
All the other managers hate all their clubs.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Unequivocally.
That's what... But
Anyway, were you about to name names there, Jim?
Yeah. What I would do is I would have the Newcastle players man the bar, and do the entertainment at Crystal Palace's end of season
That makes sense. To see what real winners look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pardew goes up to the bar, gives Papi Cisse $1 a week. Good to see you, son. Good to see you.
Yeah, and he orders like a vodka and coke, and he passes it over. He grabs a whole bottle of vodka and goes, "When you're the king, you can drink whatever you want."
And have one on me. Have one yourself.
They'd love it. They'd love it because they played for Pardew, didn't they? They haven't played for Carver. They'd enjoy it.
In that situation at Crystals with Pardew there, they'd probably find some way to win a football game within that environment.
Absolutely.
Because that's what Pardew does.
Crystals is the sort of place where you get given like drinks tokens. So I reckon like Pardew just be like shucking them at players.
We've not got a license, so
them out.
you have to buy these tokens. Then you can then exchange those tokens for an alcoholic beverage.
The man
if
around
you
the
want.
corner with a chest freezer.
I like if Pardew, as the Newcastle players were leaving at the end of the night, and he's rubbing them all on the head saying, don't speed on the way home, boys, but if you do, maybe the only way you'll get 3 points.
Oh, yeah, just getting the digs in all night long. And I imagine Crystals, and I have to imagine it because we still haven't been there, I imagine it's the sort of place where it takes absolutely ages to get a drink. But if you've got like a first team of footballers behind the bar, that won't be a problem. It'll function. It'll be good.
No, well,
What if it's Newcastle United?
yeah, they'll be smashing bottles everywhere.
Tim Krul trying to make cocktails with just shoving them into the bar.
Excellent start. Luke, what have you got?
I do think it is inappropriate that Newcastle United have an end of season party. I applaud the decision to cancel it.
They had it in January.
Yeah, chiefly because they've already had it. But when I thought of a more appropriate thing for them to do, I can't get away from the idea of a zombie experience.
No, for those who don't know, because it's quite big in London.
I'm not sure I know, but I'm going to give it a go. Essentially, you pay and you go along, and it's like you have an environment where the environment itself has been overrun by zombies, and presumably you have to either pretend to kill them in like a paintball fashion and stay alive.
It's kind of like paintball, but with zombies, and you don't have guns.
So essentially, it would give Newcastle United players an idea of what it's been like as a fan to watch them perform, like a load of really slow, half-dead zombies, or undead zombies, I suppose.
Yeah, and they have to, and of course there was talk of the post-mortem.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. I can imagine like a couple of the players, maybe a couple of the youth team players, have been invited along, like legging it away from like a slow, lumbering zombie. And he goes, "Hang on, is that Colaccini? just Colaccini with a bit of blackcurrant on it."
It's not Ryan Taylor. It's all right. He'll never catch up to you or hurt you in any way.
Also, Stephen Taylor just pretended to be shot by a stray painter. Good, Peter. What about you?
I think a fitting end to the Premier League season for the Newcastle United
relegation
is, apart from relegation, is you need something with a bit more pageantry, bit of ceremony. I'm thinking a lovely match of piss jousting. So so 2 players.
Is that an event?
Yeah, piss jousting, where you just stand next to each other, pee on each other. One person's going to win, one person's going to lose. But either way, both of them are going to
lose.
Both people are going to get piss on them.
Where's the joust?
Let me get me answer out, Marcus Speller, ringmaster.
All right.
This is an event.
Piss jousting.
So is it like a tournament?
It's all they deserve, and it's all they can muster.
Marcus is looking at me with despair on his face, shrugging his shoulders, saying, "I don't know how this has happened."
Well, technically it's on his watch, so he's failed to control
You're a
it.
guest and he's failed to control it. You're getting your piss trapped.
And if you are coming to the live show on Friday, hey,
That's the
piss
sort of
jousting.
that's the sort of quality you can expect.
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen.
Seriously, if you are coming to the live show Friday, bring a change of clothes.
Yeah.
I've not heard of piss jousting either until now.
No.
Excellent. I think
Is it excellent?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's over. That's what's excellent about it. I thought dinner at John Carver's house, cooked up by Tim Sherwood, but Tim Sherwood would be very, very annoying. One of those hosts who he cooks a fairly basic meal but thinks it's amazing and will tell you all how he did every little thing and all the rest of it, dropping in and ways to how to survive relegation.
I've just given the beef a bit of confidence.
I just whacked it up to 9. Just whacked it straight up to 9. So Tim Sherwood roast that.
My dinner ratio tonight is 100%. You know, so you know, so it would be all that. And
I'd rather do that than piss jousting.
would you?
Yeah. So maybe.
Yeah, you see,
There's
think
room for
about
both of
it.
them.
A whole evening with Sherwood.
But can I request we do the piss jousting after the meal?
Oh, dearie me. I think Jim's got the point.
Pardew's got the point, isn't it? Essentially.
Let's move.
Speaking of Pardew, a friend of mine was at some sort of ball, some sort of summer ball in the Croydon area, and Alan Pardew was there. This is a number of years ago, and he chatted to. He's a Crystal Palace fan. He chatted to him. I think it might have been. No, it must have been recently then, because I think it was when Pardew was Palace manager. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Pardew was there. He was there. He was there with his girlfriend, and he was chatting to Pardew. And at the end of the night, he said Pardew went up to his girlfriend and said, "Your boyfriend's alright, but he needs to improve his banter."
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Improve his banter.
But in the meantime, here's my number.
I can't confirm or deny that part. But that was definitely
But we can assume.
Is that the subtext? Definitely subtext.
What's the text?
Let them have their own subtext.
Indeed.
Dearie me. Relegated QPR. They beat Newcastle United 2-1. The Magpies, they led 1-0 through Riviere.
His first goal.
Yeah.
Lovely back flip.
Can I pick up on this?
Yes.
How shameless do you have to be as a forward attacking player to score your first goal in 18 hours of football, right? Do a massive backflip, even though you sort of scuffed it in a way you didn't mean to score.
I've seen him miss so many others where he just absolutely smacks it to the ground, and it just so happened to have kind of it bounced off his standing foot. It was really bad.
The celebration was like he had scored the goal to keep them in the Premier League.
Well, he's had plenty of time to practice the celebration, hasn't he?
It could have been the goal that kept them in the Premier League.
But it wasn't.
But at the time, well, you thought they're 1-0 up against a side that's already relegated.
Yeah, fair one.
Defend properly. To be fair, the second goal was an absolute peach.
Yeah, it still came from a goalkeeper mistake.
Yeah.
And a little bit. The thing about the second goal that QPR scored, that would have really rankled with me if I was a Newcastle fan, is that the way QPR scored that goal at 1-1 when they're already relegated is because they wanted the ball more.
Absolutely.
They won it back.
Yeah.
They had more desire than the team fighting for their
Absolutely.
life.
What is amazing about it is that QPR were, they're not good enough to be in the Premier League. We've seen that, and they were playing for pride. And they're a team that notoriously went down because they have no professional pride. And they were still enough to overcome Newcastle from a goal down.
I just like how how many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now, we went down in the weekend where Hull were in trouble, Sunderland were in trouble, Newcastle were in trouble, and it's happened again.
Yeah,
it's happened again.
Team in claret and blue on the last day of the season, as someone who will come up later in the highlights of the week pointed out. The QPR thing is funny because that was also Chris Ramsey's first home win as QPR manager. You're welcome, QPR. Newcastle 1 point from 30, not a problem. You're win, don't worry about it.
If you do stay up, is it fair to say that Pardew has kept you up? Because
He literally has.
if he got a few games earlier,
That's a lovely bit of
I think it's interesting. He probably would have got the win, but that's really not the point. As I've sort of said before, it's just not the point, is it?
The point is, Pete, that 1 point of their total points total has come from John Carver. The rest have come from Alan Pardew.
Yeah, I know.
If they do stay in the Premier League, I think Alan Pardew is more to thank than John Carver.
Yeah, but by the fact he was in the seat, I thought you were on my side, Luke.
Mate,
I thought you were more
Luke,
level-headed than this.
I'm on no one's side.
he knows
Outlaw.
it. He knows it.
Outlaw.
He's just grieving. Let him grieve.
Wait for some of my fast and loose Liverpool opinions later. If you think I'm on anyone's side, you are very sadly mistaken.
I just think Pardew will get a mention that.
I just pie pooper Pardew. I just like the fact that like imagine how annoying you must be if you're like a Hull fan, like going literally the only way we're going to be able to Newcastle are down if we can win against Manchester United, and we ain't going to win against Manchester United. They just
It's going to be a sickening Brucey belly rub this time round, isn't it? The worst one yet.
Oh, Hull. It was that game against Burnley, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, look, I think the good thing for them is that at the time of recording, Arsenal haven't played Sunderland, but if Arsenal can cement that third position, in fact, if Manchester United have effectively nothing to play for, and not that Van Gaal's going to let them go easy, but if they have no chance of getting third, I'm not sure if they do, actually.
I would.
No, they do at the moment. Arsenal need 2 more points from 2 games.
Right, okay. So if Arsenal could do that, and Manchester United go into that game, then it is an away trip for Manchester United where there's absolutely nothing on the cards.
Yeah.
So that would be better for Hull.
And the current guys of Manchester United wouldn't write Hull off. I know Hull can't score, I know they're in doldrums and they've had problems off the pitch, blah blah blah, with Jake Livermore and all that other stuff. But this is
If anything, that might galvanise them.
This is the time of the season when strange results do happen. The one thing I would say though is Hull at Spurs were absolutely
Terrible.
dreadful. I mean, Spurs are they're the Beach Boys, aren't they? They might as well pump good vibrations in the fucking stadium. Everett Lamella fucking run the show at a walking pace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hull had a couple of half chances, of course, and Jelovic could have done better with one or two, but generally, I mean.
But that's the thing, though. Hull actually that's the one difference between them and some of the other sides, that Hull actually did create a few opportunities.
Yeah, but they really made hard work of them, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did.
There was that one Abel Hernandez, which was a genuine chance. The others would just seem to be a bit like those type of half chances you get when things aren't quite going for you.
Almost like it's in the final third, smack it might go in, but really panicky.
Yeah.
What about
there were some lovely passes for both the Spurs goals, like from Mason.
Mason's pass? One of the passes of the season.
Beautiful, yeah, really good.
Did Rose? Did he? Was it a scuff? Was it a controlled?
It's his wrong. He's left foot, isn't he, Danny Rose? It was his right foot. It was a bit of a swinger, but it went at the top corner. Do you know what I mean?
Fourth goal of the season for Danny Rose.
G was getting a load of crap for his dyed red hair. It's
ridiculous.
What was he thinking?
Apparently, he tried to dye it purple, but it went wrong. That's what I heard. Yeah, he's not going to dye it red as a Spurs player, is he?
Yeah, well,
that is such a Spurs story.
Yeah, but would you not look? You're talking about he's a professional footballer for one of the biggest clubs in the country. He turns up with red hair. Can you not just be like, get someone in to change this? You know, surely that somebody could have.
It's a funny colour because you go from purple, it just goes to pink, doesn't it? It doesn't. I think red's a funny colour.
I heard the story. That's what he was trying to do, and based on my own experience, a friend of mine when we were a lot younger tried to bleach his hair, and then his older brother came in and kicked him out the bathroom early, so he had to wash it out, and it went gold.
Yeah.
So it does happen. I think it does happen. It goes a bit of a different colour.
Well, white makes it all porous because you'd have to put bleach in it first before you put. Because
if you've got any hair dye knowledge, by all means tweet in and tell us.
I think a lot of Spurs fans, if you told them at the start of the season, at this point of the season, the main narrative would be around one of their defenders failing to dye his hair properly. They'd be a little disappointed.
Ref, that's a dye.
But Pochettino in the post-match interview, I think he really wanted to say, because they asked him if he wanted to play European football, he had the most unconvincing basically went,
I am from Europe.
What he actually wanted to say was...
He's not even.
Yeah, what he actually wanted to say was, we tried to throw this game, but Hull were genuinely so bad. We couldn't win. Yeah, we couldn't win.
Chadley found himself around the goalkeeper and he thought, oh crap, well, I've got to put it in. Seriously, Rose tried to sky it went in the top corner.
Everything's gone wrong.
I mean, come on, Brucey.
I think this is now the time for me to introduce this little sentence too. Steve Bruce has published 3 novels.
I always forget about this.
Sweeper, Defender and Striker.
Defender sounds brilliant, doesn't it?
Featuring the exploits of fictional football manager Steve Barnes. Sweeper was described as surprisingly punchy and pacey, although the plot is essentially ludicrous.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Why have we not read these?
I really like how is it the manager you said was called Steve Barnes?
Steve Barnes. Yeah.
Why Steve?
I think we know why.
You either go all in or you're nothing at all. It's all or nothing.
It would be so much better if he'd written a series of novels where he himself was the main character.
Well, Bruce Steves.
I imagine in the books he essentially writes all the wrongs that have happened in his managerial career. And then we won that game, and it was a really good result. And then we won the Premier League, and everyone was happy.
He's like Scott Bakula in Conor League, trying to put right what once went wrong.
I think Theo Walcott's got a couple of kids' books out as well.
Oh yeah, there might be, or he was certainly interested in it.
The Last Refuge of a Scoundrel. Kids' books.
It's great that Steve Bruce has got something to fall back on, even when his team fell into the Championship.
Still might have a job though.
Unlikely.
But what about old Jake Livermore? He was asked what he thought their survival chances were, and he seemed pretty positive. Hey,
I don't get it. Because he's
tested positive for the coke.
I thought he's positive because of the effects of the cocaine.
Well, either
it floods your brains with the endorphins, and you feel like a sense of euphoria. It's like.
Is that what made you draw that moustache on your face?
Pete genuinely had a moustache drawn on his face and had forgotten when he greeted us at the doors of the studio earlier.
Drank a lot of coffee today. So.
Little insight into our world.
Jake Livermore.
Daft, isn't it? Apparently the FA have really stepped up the drug testing this season, have they?
Jermaine sort of implied that he's had a few problems off the pitch, and Steve Bruce did seem really quite upset about it in the post-match interviews, and it was his most difficult week in management. So I don't know what's happened.
It's not necessarily it's just a daft arse.
No, I don't think so. I guess we'll find out. But you know that I believe I'm right in saying that the maximum punishment for what is deemed as social drugs amongst Premier League footballers is 2 years.
Yeah.
2-year ban. So I mean, it could be really bad. proud for him.
I would hope that it wouldn't be that. If there is something going on behind the scenes, that the FA wouldn't be that harsh on it.
But especially, I mean, we're not talking about performance-enhancing drugs. No, we're just not. And I realise why it has to be.
For a bit.
Yeah.
Until you get some more.
I'll never forget a number of years ago when I can't remember who it was.
Can we do your stories on the?
No, it's not. No, it's not my story. I'm telling you about football. I think it was Adrian Mutu when he was.
When he owed Chelsea like £4 million.
Yeah, and I think they basically had a list of players around the world who had been banned for such substances, and it was sort of Adrian Mutu, and he got quite a lengthy ban, and it was this player in Italy or wherever it was. He 6 months, Spain 9 months, relegated to Colombia 6 games.
That'll do you.
Dry out.
Right. How many proxy meters with Pablo Escobar, who is literally your friend?
Yeah, fabulous.
Hiding it in the goalposts, sniffing it during games.
Get some hippie crack down, you guys.
Yeah, hippie crack.
Get some of that.
That's the answer, isn't it?
Legal high.
And the media don't mind it.
Yeah.
So they'll report it and say it's okay. So Hull are in real trouble. Can they beat Manchester United? That is the question.
You know what? Obviously, that's a horrible situation for Hull, but it is nice that there is going to be something left unsettled on the last day, isn't it? Because pretty much everything else is sewn up.
Because Newcastle couldn't beat QPR.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reason,
Thank
Jim.
you, everyone.
That is the reason.
I've got a little bit of an update about Steve Bruce's books, by the way.
Oh,
Good.
good.
More information.
Okay,
Apparently, there are so few still in circulation that buying them on Amazon will cost anything between £40 and £90, and 5 used copies of his first book, Striker, are available at £40 each, while there are 4 each of the follow-up Sweeper at £80, and the final offering in the True Defender, $89.99.
Bloody hell.
Let's start a Kickstarter. Fittingly named.
Oh, goodness. Leicester have survived, though.
Are we going to talk about 0-0?
With a game to spare.
Of course we are. Leicester have stayed up.
I love Neil Neal.
The story's Leicester have stayed up.
Is that Neil Shipley's book? Neil Neal, The Adventures of Neil Neal.
Neil Neal.
Neil, very good. Is it better than that?
I laughed.
Good, okay.
Gilbert Bennett.
Have some respect, Spelsy.
Comedy cops over there. People are asking if this has been the greatest escape in history of the Premier League. Luke, you once said Portsmouth, would you not? Because that was a remarkable one. Okay, it was under Redknapp, but still.
No, I don't care that it was on the red now. I think that given that I don't think Portsmouth were bottom of Christmas though.
Were they not?
And I think only one team have been bottom of Christmas. I think it might have been West Brom.
Yeah.
Leicester were
Didn't spend that money.
Leicester were they've won 7 of their last 9.
What about Hodgson's foot? 2-0 down? Away to Manchester City. I think they really needed the win, didn't they?
Yeah.
Think so.
You want the ideal where it's going to be on the last day, don't you?
Carver's Newcastle.
Don't write off. By the way,
play that?
Don't write off Sunderland because they play Arsenal tomorrow night and they play Chelsea. Both away from home as well.
That's right.
Yeah. And Newcastle, I think, have got a slightly superior goal difference to one to other teams around there as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a great. It all comes out of Hull, isn't
No,
it?
Newcastle have got the worst one.
Oh, they're the worst.
Sunderland have got -20, but away to Arsenal, you would have thought that Arsenal would win that, and obviously it's -20.
Would thought that in Swansea.
But Swansea are a good side, of course.
Well,
anyway,
Sunderland still have a lot to play for that. This is that stage of the season where nothing is just.
I think that's for me. Sunderland Arsenal. That's a very winnable game for Sunderland, just because Arsenal.
Do you
know what I mean? Arsenal would do exactly that.
I can see them getting out of that with 0-0 Sunday. Arsenal haven't scored in the last 2 games, have they? I think that's
only the last one. Yeah. I don't know.
Not the last one.
No, I think Arsenal and Sunderland. But yeah, I take the point. But if Sunderland do lose, obviously the goal difference gets worse. But they're currently on -20. Newcastle are on -25. Hull are on -18.
Okay, fine.
So that's the situation there. But I suppose, I mean, it's due to the ineptitude of Hull and Newcastle. Sunderland look like they'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But good news for Sunderland though is that West Brom did show that Chelsea are beatable at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a funny old one, isn't
strange
it?
game, wasn't it? I said a few weeks ago that Chelsea would step it up now and batter someone just to show that they can play good football. But they're fine, aren't they? Not bothered. Don't feel like they need to do that.
He didn't seem that surprised, did he?
He didn't seem that bothered.
It's natural, and there's always going to be a bit of a.
He went over to the away support and was holding up, the one digit.
No, they won the title.
I know, but if you're an away fan, you just see someone get
Well, what about Polish? That was loving, wasn't it?
Oh, with the 35-second press conference.
And the big hug beforehand.
Oh, they were loving it, weren't they?
Yeah. John Carver would be so jealous. Get it. He gives
big
that hug
old
to
hug.
everyone.
Yeah.
Possibly one of the facts of the season, which was on the BBC website, was that Mourinho this season, all 4 managers that have beaten his sides have surnames beginning with P.
Pulis, Parkinson, Pochettino, Pochettino, Pardew.
It's come to this. Things are seated out.
Run out of stats so hard.
In light of that news, have Chelsea been that good this season?
I'd say so.
Has it been a failure?
Well, here's another one for you again on BBC. If John Terry plays the full 90 minutes in Chelsea's final match against Sunderland, he will become only the second outfield player to play every single minute of a Premier League season for the champions after Manchester United's Gary Pallister, 92-93. That's phenomenal. Presumably he does
Well, he's
complete.
been the best defender.
That is absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? What the hell was Fabregas doing that?
That was interesting, but at the same time, what a pinpoint shot to the face! Head or whatever it was.
In the back of the head.
He didn't the referee.
It was so good that Chris Brunt didn't know what had happened. He was like looking around like, what was that?
Maybe Fabregas was jealous of Brunt's reputation of being able to ping it. It's like, I'll show you fucking ping.
Yeah, Brunt was like, yeah, I'll show you. I'll put it in the net. And he did.
Brunt's got a bit of a dig on him though.
But was it a red card?
It did seem harsh, didn't it? As a straight red.
If he's meant to do that, then yeah, I'd probably say so. But has he just kicked it back?
Do you think it's because he's actually hit it quite hard? Like if he's just nonchalantly sort of scuffed it over there?
Suppose he did it,
yellow.
He's a professional footballer. He knows how hard it's in there.
I remember there was in my company, there was a girl stood by a wall and she went, passing the ball, I went, alright, and I pretended to boo it really hard, but by pretending to boo it, I followed through and booed as hard as I could. It hit her and I felt terrible. I started crying because of the shock. She was in agony. Hang on, it's not.
She cried because of the shock, because she had a bomb pepped in the
Well, it wasn't the pain. It was just that I'm really surprised she just booted a ball at me. I didn't mean to.
She was hurt physically and emotionally.
Did you know? Yeah.
You still
I don't know whether that makes sense. It's a friend's girlfriend. Hey.
You still friends with her?
Sarah.
She fit.
Do you still carry football around with you?
I'm not now, Reg. Leave me alone. He's got a new contract. Incredible.
Kick and go and stuck with the football and let it crap. Mourinho did acknowledge it was a poor performance from his team, saying, I can't just blame the players, I can blame myself. I also lost that salt and pepper you need during the week to work at a high level.
Okay.
Roll that back, Jake. No, come on. But he did say that I think the other title contenders are also guilty because they let us win the title so early. What a thing!
You can say anything when you're the king.
That's a great idea.
Brilliant day.
Oh, come on, we've got to give him that.
Fair dues.
You've just been beaten 3-0 by a much poorer side, and yet you managed to turn it around and slag over everybody else. It was their fault. They weren't so bad.
Magic.
West Brom finished 13th, though. They were really struggling when Pulis took over. So, well done, Ben. We thought the Pulis would do that. Everyone
Never
thought
been relegated, famously.
Never knowingly relegated. Now then, Aston Villa, they've survived.
Yeah.
Hey, well done, old Timmy Sherwood. And they celebrated that by some losing 6-1 taking the game off. do you think he could have done a Mourinho, couldn't he? Yeah. One of all the other relegation contenders weren't so bad that we wouldn't have just rolled over.
I was on air and I played an ad break and it was like 3 minutes long and he'd scored the entire hat trick in that ad break.
Yeah.
He beat the hat trick record for the fastest Premier hat trick.
That's right.
But he beat it by some distance.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The record before was 4 minutes 33. He beat it by over a minute and a half. I mean, you could see someone shaving a few seconds off that. But a minute and a half.
And the second, the third goal
broken, surely.
The third goal was a peach as well.
Fowlers. Yeah, absolutely. He obviously had so much confidence. The first two, there were defensive mishaps all over the place. Ron Vlaar, what was he doing? I prefer either of them really, but yeah, but I love how Mane celebrated the hat trick with that real nonchalance, like he'd not done it, like it was no big deal. It was like, yeah, I scored 90 goals in training in every match.
His post match is really interesting as well. They're going, oh my god, I can't believe it. He goes, yeah, I'm happy to be scoring goals. I'm like, shut up! You just beat the.
He seems like a really nice guy.
training.
It was like Second World War, I think it is. The record span back behind the Premier League. It's the quickest hat trick in the top flight since the Second World War. So,
wow,
very good.
Flipping heck.
It's not going to be beaten anytime soon.
I would have thought so.
Shane Long's goal though. My God, the second one.
I was so far out.
Brilliant, but really really well executed. He knew exactly what he was doing there. It was
Bloody perfect.
Villa
Jim.
were terrible.
Yeah.
They really were terrible.
Well,
like.
given flashbacks to the Newcastle United back four, gone, I remember this. I remember this shit.
I didn't know what to think because obviously I don't like to see Southampton do so well. I mean, they're obviously a good team and the goals were great, but I don't like to see them win as a rule. But then obviously I hate Tim Sherwood, so it's a bit of a
Emotional day for you.
I really enjoyed seeing Tim Sherwood slumped in his chair, like with a face like thunder for about half an hour.
And, like, there's a definite difference between the slump and the slouch. The slouch
Very
is
much
when
so.
they're winning, he's all cocky, like, got my feet up, anyone got the sun, I want to read George and Lynn.
Just the back page.
I think I look really good in the Iron Throne.
The slump's different though.
Did the slump become a slouch when QPR went 2-1 up?
I don't know, I think it was still a slump.
Okay. According to Opta Joe, Tim Sherwood has a win percentage of 55% after 33 games as a Premier League manager. Only one Englishman, John Gregory, with 64%, had a better one.
64%. Wow.
Gregory was recently managing Crawley Town.
The illustrious John Gregory. Yeah.
Stats like that.
so weird,
He'll be in a job on December the 1st.
If he plays his cards right, which he definitely will.
It's so weird with managers like John Gregory because actually Gregory had a reasonably decent spell with Aston Villa, a big club and all.
He was tipped for the England manager.
Yeah, exactly. And then it sort of drops off. I think he went to Middle East, am I right?
He was in Kazakhstan for a while, wasn't he?
Right, okay. And so
he might have been in the Middle East as well.
but goes off to a traditionally not so big footballing country and goes in a bit of the international wilderness or whatever you want to call it, and then comes back and you think, John Gregory, and you find out that I think he was in charge of Crawley Town.
He was, yeah.
And you think, blimey, a guy like that you would thought would have much more longevity. At least it's managing championship clubs and that kind of thing.
But that shows you how difficult it is. There's so many variables in managing a football club.
Of course, and that's I'm not having a go at him. It's his life, and he might have wanted to take a big pay packet, live in the sun for a bit in the Middle East.
No, but I know what you mean. Though. At the time, Gregory looked like he would be a mainstay.
Yeah.
It's not a ring. I mean, listen.
Another one is Peter Taylor, who managed England for that one game away in Italy. He's managing in India now.
Yeah.
In the this is not called the IPL because that's a cricket league, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is that coming back at any point? Is that an experiment?
It's a very limited.
It's a very short league.
He's managing there.
That's why Peter Reid likes it.
Terry Butcher manages in Scotland.
Yeah,
outrageous, Jim.
The thing with Tim Sherwood, to be balanced about it, of course, he was drafted in to do a couple of things. One is to keep him in the Premier League, which he's done, and two is to get him scoring goals, which he's done.
Well, 3 for the bands.
Yeah, definitely leave it on that one as well. But if John Gregory's anything to go by, it may not last. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Lukey Miller. I can't wait for the soon to go turn into Gone to November. Gone
in November.
Okay, yeah. There we are. Now let's go back up to the top of the league. With Manchester United drew 1-1 with Arsenal. Arsenal haven't won at Old Trafford since September 2006. So perhaps, Jim, a point wasn't a bad result.
No, it wasn't. It's definite progress, isn't it? We beat them at Old Trafford in the FA
Sorry,
Cup.
in the league that was.
Yeah. That's good. Arsenal didn't really sort of get out of the blocks to start with, though. United were the better team for most of the game, I think. But overall,
Arsenal was slightly better in the second half.
Yeah, certainly. And
that was the first
towards
goal.
the end of the game, Arsenal
First goal
found
Arsenal
their rhythm.
have conceded in the first half of the match since New Year's Day.
Yeah, no, they've been on an amazing run of form.
Well, that Chelsea result was the first game they'd lost since New Year's Day, wasn't it? I think the last game they lost before that was against Spurs.
Because it was
The drew, yeah.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay.
It was Swansea.
Yeah, I think the Swansea game rattled us a little bit because we attacked those Swans with the verve of a Daily Mail reader's idea of an asylum seeker. Like, we've just got nothing, and I think that's so typical Arsenal. It's what Pete and I were referring to earlier. That Arsenal were typical for doing that, even when they're on a good run of form, they might do something stupid. And I think maybe a little bit those nerves set back in, and so we didn't have our rhythm. Apparently, Alexis Sanchez was ill. You got to question the sort of wisdom of playing him because he didn't have his best game. But
he's still the best player if he's ill.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, ill and injured, still the best player, and drunk. But yeah, I mean, a point at Old Trafford at this stage of the season is good. It makes our job a little bit easier. And probably my highlight of the week, which I'm just going to run to now, was Louis van Gaal giving his sort of like, it was their last home game of the season.
Yeah, that was great.
Giving his speech, and so many Arsenal fans stayed behind to just sing about going to Wembley, just right over the top of it.
Which is unlike Arsenal fans, is it?
The away fans are pretty good. It was much shorter, Van Gaal's speech, than what I thought it was going to be, because obviously I just remembered Ferguson's leaving speech, which was obviously it wasn't too lengthy or anything, but I thought it was going to be this kind of grand thing. So thanks very much, we'll see you next season, which was a nice touch.
He's got a very odd voice, hasn't he?
Keep supporting live comedy.
Mike, that's it. Thanks for coming out. What about Victor Valdez coming on?
It's great to see him play
immediately.
This is the funny thing. People have forgotten about Valdez, and you think, who's De Gea's replacement if he goes? Presumably does. That goalkeeper, he was in goal for Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. He's decent.
One of the greatest club sides of all time.
He's good. I mean, you're fine. You should be the number 2 for Valdez.
He's still better than Casillas.
Do you think though that was maybe part of the thinking, because there's been rumours about De Gea going back to Madrid for as long as he's been at United.
He was at Atletico.
I know he was at Atletico. I'm in the city, but
I personally think it's very unlikely they'll keep on with De Gea. Personally,
that looks like it's the wheels are very much in motion in that way. Sometimes you can just tell when Madrid are going to get what they want.
It's whether they can use that move to prize a player they want from the future.
But what I'm saying is, do you think Valdez was signed, to prepare for that?
Possibly.
Well, the thing was, it seemed at the time they signed him just to annoy Liverpool, who really wanted him. and then I suppose, possibly. I mean, you've got a player, you've got a goalkeeper like that who's got such a great European pedigree, certainly at club level. Then he's going to push someone like De Gea all the way. De Gea's going to learn a lot from him, so it's a bit of a win-win. So if De Gea doesn't come in, then you've got a great keeper there to step in. If he doesn't, you've got a really experienced countryman who can coach and help him and really push him. And De Gea's obviously the keeper of the season, so it's obviously worked.
Yeah, but also with Valdez, they got him when because he'd left Barcelona, or his contract expired, then because he got the injury, so he hung around for a bit. I think they let him train there, or whatever it was.
I think he was training with United before he signed for them.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, so he went to Manchester United, so they got him on a free, so they think to themselves, well, as you say, look, you've got a great number 2 or a replacement for De Gea, and if Valdez doesn't want to be a number 2, we'll sell him off for a few million. So actually I thought it was great business of Manchester United.
Just keep him there, do a Bezin, just keep him on the bench.
I don't think Valdez is going to be
until he's 50.
Bezin's 56.
Or just swap deal De Gea for Chikorito.
But it's funny though, Jim, you're saying about Real Madrid when they get what they want. Well, that's if they get De Gea, then obviously they took Ronaldo and Beckham, although Beckham that was
a bit different,
slightly different. But they have pinched a few of their big players. Or Van Nistelrooy, did they go?
They did get Van Nistelrooy, but again that was slightly different. Sort of ready to sell him.
Are you trying to dress up Manchester United as a feeder club for Real Madrid? Big shout.
Can we talk about Pars now?
Not yet, no. It was good. All right, then go on. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 3. Pardew ruined the party.
He loves it, doesn't he? Not just for Liverpool.
He really does.
He ended City's title bid effectively this season as well. Palace just love it.
Yeah.
Piss jousting on parade.
It's basically like what Pardew's done there is he's proposed to his girlfriend at Steven Gerrard's wedding.
Lovely. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, he has indeed. Yeah, I mean, Gerrard.
Sorry, Steve. Before you go out and say thanks for all the support, do you want me to say a few words? Or
no, it wouldn't be that. It would be ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. No,
it wouldn't ask permission.
I think it would be more of an announcement of the missus being pregnant rather than overshadow it a bit. But yeah, Gerrard got a huge send off, obviously. It was quite funny when he came out because he was slapping high fives with all the Palace players and then the officials, but didn't really give a nod to his own teammates. Maybe he'd already done that.
I think he should have been embarrassed by those situations.
He generally looks like he just didn't want all the fuss.
The things I said last week about this being a massive Gerrard fest, I don't know if I made it clear at the time. I don't think it's Gerrard's fault this is happening. But one thing I found interesting, and I'll present it without comment, is the way that Adam Lallana celebrated his goal. Legged it as quick as he could over Gerrard, pointing at it.
That's not unreasonable, is it? What's wrong with that?
It's not unreasonably loved by anyone.
I said to you, I'm presenting it without comment.
Look, let's move on, but I understand what you're saying. Did the banner that flew overhead, which read "In Rogers We Trust," did that overshadow anything? Not literally, as in
small plane.
No, just leave the planes out of it.
I'd like to someone to just go over once and down with banners.
I think we've got a moral obligation now to not talk about this.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think local airfields that let those planes take off have got the moral obligation. We got a banner on the back of that plane, right? No, you're not going anywhere.
Nothing is being achieved by Rodgers out one week and Rodgers we trust next week. Nothing is being achieved by that.
It is been better, Rodgers.
So where we started then? Some people want him out, some people don't.
It's just interesting that nobody
tweet it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that nobody uses them anymore. The last person who used it was Farage when he crashed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like if managers start getting sacked by plane, great.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
I'd endorse that.
Yeah, that's good. What about appointed by plane? Keegan's coming
What?
back.
So they say it like,
Wait in your garden. We've got something for you.
No, so
what are you talking about? It's a surprise. Just go in your garden.
on Wednesday at 10 a.m. the new manager will be announced, and you will be able to see it if you look in a westerly direction.
I don't have any Wi-Fi. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You certainly won't need.
So does that say Robson or Robinson? Or... You're too high. You're too high.
Yeah, they bugger it up somehow. But yeah, when Palace made it 2-1, then they got the penalty. You're like, oh man,
yeah,
they're taking the piss.
One goal was offside, and the penalty was outside the box as well.
And it was missed.
Yeah, of course.
I loved it when Zaha won the penalty. Absolutely no respect for the occasion. Straight over the pass, celebrating the penalty.
Have respect for the occasion.
Exactly.
Like your own
You're getting sucked in.
I'm just saying it's funny. It's just funny. You might be having a party, a celebration, but I'm having my own one over here.
Did you see Yannick Bolassy's insane bit of... Well, they called it skill on Match of the Day, but he had the ball on the edge of the box. He bent over, just pretended he was going to slap it, just didn't, and carried on.
Oh, yeah,
he's such an odd player, but he's brilliant.
No, but what about was it the week before at Selhurst Park or whatever it was, when they were all in the corner celebrating and someone chucked a bottle of water over and he did like a volley flick.
Yeah,
caught it in midair.
Absolutely love him.
Yeah, he's been a wonderful addition to the league, to the best league in England. Actually, it's not even the best league in England, it's the Championship, of course.
Yep.
Which we'll come on to in just a sec. There's fresh talk, or big talk, of Sterling leaving. It's almost
Jamie Carragher was fuming.
Oh, Phil Thompson as well.
Do you think Sterling's thought, I'm not sure if I want to leave. I'm going to say I might want to leave. You can't leave, Shamer!
Exactly.
Right, I'm leaving.
All these ex-pros coming out going, it's a disgrace, it's a disgrace, you should stay, you twat. That's not going to make...
I think it's just all down to his agent.
Yeah, of course
I
it
think
is.
it's down to his agent.
Quite possibly.
The thing is, I agree largely with the point that Jamie Carragher made.
Yeah, I understand what he says.
Read the playing side of it, where he said, well, if Raheem Sterling's not about the money, and he wants to go because he wants to play Champions League football, then he had Champions League football this season and he didn't turn up.
Yeah.
He didn't show up. And so he's 20 years old, you know what I mean? But when Carragher started, because I think they got on Monday, I don't know if you guys saw Monday Night Football, but when they obviously got the news through during the show.
Yeah.
So whether it came out in the press or whether Carragher heard from someone else, and he was fuming. That to shelve.
I mean, he's quite pink anyway.
Yeah, that to shelve the feature they were going to do.
Oh, really?
Because he wouldn't shut up.
Oh,
He was talking for like 3 or 4 minutes and he was going, it makes me sick to the pit of my stomach.
He was. His hands are sweating
like that.
His hands are sweating so much that I gave him a big stylus to use as iPad.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really almost emotionally immature response to that, isn't it? Shortly. And again, it's just surely going to push him out the door. Like, who knows what the real situation is? Clearly, as you say, it's probably agents sort of pulling strings.
So he's just leaking stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, a lot of people are going. A lot of the angry Liverpool fans that have been, as wound up as Carragher about this have been talking about, like actually sell him, get some money for him if he's disloyal, blah 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 blah. But his form has been bad since this all came out the first time. But up until then, he's had a good season. He's a superb player, Sterling, and they do need to hang on to him.
That's why this
is just pushing him further out the door.
Has anyone asked what Phil Neville feels? about the
Isn't this just playing right into City's hands? If anything, everything that comes out knocks a bit of money off. Surely.
There's not talk of that. There's talk that he wants to go out to London.
Right.
So I guess that means Chelsea or perhaps even Arsenal. I don't know.
Yeah, Arsenal have been linked with him a lot, which I think would be a very odd move.
Well, haven't Liverpool been linked with Walcott though?
Yeah. Well, I mean that would sort of make sense, but I actually don't think.
Is it just London though? Is there talk of him going to?
Well, Jamie Carragher said, and he obviously has people who are close, who knows him, he said he was under the impression he was keen to return to London, which is where he's from.
Yeah, but I think the thing with the idea of him going to Arsenal is a bit of a strange one, because we're well stocked in that department, and Walcott going would be odd as well, because Theo Walcott, he's struggling to get back into the team at the moment, but he's coming back off an injury, and on top of that, he's coming back off of another injury when he got injured. Both of them were long term. Before that, and it's a big if to say if he can get back to that form. He was our best player. He got over 20 goals that season. So if Walcott can get back to that form, we don't need Sterling there. So it's a strange. It would be a strange move.
I think
the money would be better spent elsewhere.
And I totally understand. Obviously, Liverpool fans want him to stay. He's an excellent player. Blah de blah. It is the media reaction, of course. Is it like he's disrespected everybody? And look, he's a young man.
It's the money aspect that's not top people's noses out.
He's been offered a big contract. That's fine. That's an option to consider. And he's a young man. He's got an awful lot of potential, of course. And is it not fair enough? He's just thinking to himself, okay, what do I want to do here? Maybe he does really miss London. That's where he's from. You can't